therapy 2 to 3 times a week for 6 to 8 weeks. After the 8-week period, I will be reevaluated by the doctor and have some more x-rays taken and hopefully start to kind of get back into the swing of things. I mean, I'm dying to go back to the gym. I can't really lift anything over 10 pounds. It's like forbidden at this point. So I've been kind of working out with like a set of kettlebells, like using the 5 and 10 pounds. I've been using 5-pound dumbbells, light stuff that I know that I can do because, Mistress does personal training also. So I kind of know what I can and what I can't do. So I know I'm not like quite limited. So, but I will say I get freaking winded just from doing like a 30-minute exercise program just for myself. So it's kind of an interesting concept. You don't realize how much your body relies on your spine. Think about it. The human head weighs 12 pounds. So you have a 12-pound skull head on top of a little skinny neck with this attached to the rest of your body. And, the spine, of course, is a central nervous or part of the central nervous system. And, you need to have a healthy spine to have a healthy life. So I was kind of hesitant at the beginning to do this type of surgery. But, for those who are listening and don't really know, Mistress had a compressed nerve or pinched nerve in C5, C6 in the cervical vertebrae of my neck. And for a couple of months, all I did one day was in January was turn my head. And then I literally saw fucking stars. And then my thumb, forefinger, and middle finger got numb. And I had like these pins and needles burning sensation from my shoulder all the way down to my fingers on my right side. And I had stayed like that for 4 months. I was trying to cover it up. I had trigger point injections, a couple of sets of them. I had some cortisone. I had some pain pill therapy. I was a legal drug addict for 4 months. It was ridiculous. And then after the 4-month period of me deciding to stop taking all those pain pills, I went back I had a cervical epidural done, okay? So then I was still kind of taking pain pills, but not as many, because I wanted to see if the epidural was going to help. I will say the epidural felt great the first day it was done. And then a couple of days later, the pain got worse. The pinched nerve got more agitated than it already was. And I had gone back to the surgeon and said, look, I had the epidural. They initially sent me for physical therapy. One doctor sent me for some physical therapy and some traction in my neck, which I went to 2 appointments and I was done after that. It was really bad. Finally, I saw the surgeon in March and he was well, listen, he's you have a pretty bad collapsed vertebrae. There's actually no bone there. He goes, C5, C6 definitely needs to be replaced. He goes, you definitely need a bone graft and the spinal fusion and a decompression. So he goes, if you want the pinched nerve to go away and you don't want to have any more crazy neck pain, he's you should really do this. And he's because one day, he's you're going to turn your head again. He goes, and you may not have any feeling. And then he had said I was bordering this other thing, which is called cervical myelial radiculopathy, which is really bad. And I had stenosis and spondylitis and some other things. So, and then the pinched nerve, of course, I had, So they had decided to put in for the surgery. And what do you know? The surgery gets approved. So I saw the doctor March 18th, and then April 21st, I was on the operating table for 6 hours. And, I felt pretty good afterwards, but now I kind of have pains in my hips. I can't really stand up for long periods of time. I'm very fidgety. I'm always up and down because it's very hard for me to get comfortable. So basically what they did was they replaced the disc. They did the bone graft. I had something called reverse cervical lordosis, or actually cervical kyphosis. So even though I look beautiful from the outside, on the inside, I didn't have such great thing. My neck was like bent like a swan. So they had to kind of fix it a little bit. So I think by them fixing it and kind of making me stand up straight and my neck is a little bit better, like position, it puts a lot of pressure on my lower back. And now my lower back is starting to bother me. So hopefully at Exotica, I'll probably be wearing some lower heeled boots. If I can find them, right? I think I know where they are. Lowered heeled boots, maybe like I'll have like a slave there carrying around a suitcase with my shoes in it so Mistress can change her shoes at the convention center. And I think Mistress Black Velvet and I are going to like get a hotel room together, with 2 beds, so her and her slave and me and whoever I can bring can like, share a bedroom or whatever. I mean, look, I would be really happy if I just had a sleeping bag and went to Exotica and camped out on somebody's floor. I'd be happy with that too. Or maybe not. Maybe I can have one of my older slaves or one of my boys online pay for a hotel room for Mistress for Exotica for the weekend. And then you get to be Mistress's chauffeur to drive me to and from the event. Spend all weekend with Mistress Candy while I get to, in a nice word, beat your ass in the hotel room all weekend. You get to be my accompaniment to the show, and you get to be dominated by me, all for the price of a hotel room. And you get to play with Mistress all weekend long. And I get to dominate you and have the time of my life. So that's what I'm looking for. So remember, boys and girls, Exotica is April. October, oh my God, October 21st to the 23rd. It's in Edison, New Jersey at the Sunfield. It's 96 Sunfield Avenue in Edison, New Jersey. Please get your tickets, book them now. I have friends that are currently attending the Miami Exotica, I think, this weekend, and it is extremely, from what I was told, it's a sold-out show. So you can imagine, Edison is a very large show, and I had heard that Miami is already packed. Like, they really have tons of vendors and tons of people, like famous people that are going to be there, and of course it's Evan Stone and Rita Daniels and Katie Morgan and Seika Black is going to be there, and a lot of other famous people. So it's a really cool thing. You get to meet all kinds of famous people and porn stars, and it's a great show. You get to learn about certain things. And what do you know? It's all about love, sex, and porn, and of course fetish and kink. And it's something you don't want to miss. If you have the opportunity to go. If you're a crossdresser who's a secret crossdresser and you want to come out like to an event that you can feel comfortable, Exotica's the place to be. You don't know how many years I've been doing this, and every year I see, like, in the crowds of people as I'm walking through the convention center, so many men that are crossdressers that they had said to me that it was the first time they actually came out of their house dressed as a woman. Like, well, all right, they stayed at the hotel. Some of them came from far. But some of them who lived kind of locally thought it was like, maybe a little bit of public humiliation for themselves to be walking around in public dressed as a woman. And for some, it's quite exhilarating. For others, it's kind of like, oh God, but I have to do it because I'm already here. I can't back out now. Like, you're kind of sucked into it a little bit. It's almost like you're giving yourself the freedom to be who you are, but yet you're like afraid of it to some degree. So when that happens, you kind of gotta just kind of go with the flow and just either do it or don't do it. And, it can be quite, like one of the first times, for instance, you want to laugh? Mistress will share this. I dress in fetish clothes for many, many years. And I have to say, a few times in my life, I had felt that when I was out somewhere with friends or, people that I was hanging out with and we were at a BDSM event, I thought maybe my outfit, didn't really look that good. And I kind of felt, embarrassed a little bit. So this is when I was first a dominatrix and the first time I ever had to wear fetish clothes. And I was out at some event with some friends at a dungeon. And I kind of felt weird, actually, in the clothes. I had said to my friend, I said, wow, this is the first time I have ever dressed like this. And I kind of feel out of place. And she goes, oh, but you look absolutely fantastic. So believe me, you don't feel embarrassed. She goes, you look amazing. She goes, those submissives in that dungeon are really going to faint when they see you. Because she's like, you're the whole package, honey. She's like, you got the look, the strong, stern physique. She's like, this was when I was younger, when I was probably 16, 17, maybe even 18, just about in that time period where I was still wrestling in high school. So I had an athletic body and, I was very, very stern looking and dominant. And she goes, oh God, these guys are going to crawl over you. They're going to be wanting to submit to you. And it was kind of funny for this woman to be saying this to me. And then as I started, going on the dominatrix train or journey, as I would say, I actually realized that my look has changed throughout the years. I used to be a little heavier back in the day. When I was first doing the stuff with Exotica, I was probably 312 or 315 pounds. And that was probably I want to say back in 2011, right? Or 2010 or somewhere in that vicinity, 2009, somewhere in that. And then now I return back to Exotica and I weigh in the proximity of 169 to 175 pounds and I'm feeling great. And, and it's kind of interesting, hold on a second. My mother is texting me again. She's driving me crazy. She's like, when are you going to be finished with your show? I really need to talk to you. I said, give me 15 minutes. Oh, God. She tried to call a few times, but I didn't want to answer because I'm doing the show, like I said. So, but I will be finishing up in probably 15 minutes and then I will call her back. So it's funny. Last week when I did the show, my friend Erin called in and I had to stop doing the show because now I have to remind my friends that I do my show from my cell phone on the Spreaker app. So when somebody tries to call me, it's quite annoying, because I'm trying to talk and then it bumps me off the thing there, So it's kind of funny. But hold on a second. So yeah, I mean, if you've never gone to Exotica before, please look it up on they're all over the internet. It's exoticaexpo.com. And basically, hold on a second. I'm texting her. I'm going to look up BDSM. Hold on. Live. I hate when I have to text somebody while I'm fucking talking, So basically, please go to Exotica. Like I said, it's a great place to be. You can buy all sorts of kinky toys. You can buy dildos. You can buy weed products. You can buy anything and everything you can possibly imagine under the sun. The dungeon is a very big interactive dungeon where actually Mistress has a couple of friends who work in the dungeon. And the dungeon is big. They have this wheel of terror of something where my friend Master Mike and his wife Subby Karen, they actually run some events in the dungeon. And basically it's kind of fun, I go in there and I get to say hello to them and greet them and talk and then I get to see what else is going on in there, like other mistresses are playing with people, like whipping and flogging. They usually have this guy that comes and does some sort of fire play. I forget his name, but he's a real sweetheart. And years ago, they